You seem like you're doing so well this past year, doing great with like your job and also in your love life. So how's that going with your new boyfriend?
It's good. You know what? Like, I'm so grateful because I feel like I get to do what I love and I get to meet all these new people, and I'm living in Los Angeles, which is where I was living before I went on The Bachelor. So I feel like my life has just settled and things have kind of just like fallen into place, and I feel so lucky. At times I'm overwhelmed still because like I was a flight attendant, like a matter of 3 years ago, and my life is still very different now than it was back then. But I'm so happy. I'm surrounded by my family. I have a great boyfriend, and I couldn't really ask for anything more.
And then I've heard you said that you guys met on Tinder, which is like you're probably like one of the few people I've heard that actually worked out on Tinder. So how did that kind of progress from there?
So we met on Tinder, yes, it's true, on a dating app. We honestly kind of hung out as friends. We went on a couple dates, but neither of us were really in a place to date. So we just kind of remained friends, and then naturally, like as time went on, he was traveling, I was busy, and then I obviously went on the show, and then fast forward a couple years later, we reconnected, if you will. So I'm definitely happy that he's in my life, and we'll see. Like, I'm very happy, and I feel like I'm glad that we started out as friends and kind of casually. Like, we met in a very organic way in today's day and age,
Yeah, exactly.
if you will. I feel like a dating app wasn't organic before, but now it's like very normal.
Yeah, it's kind of the norm.
Yeah.
And then obviously, I guess you have been in a public relationship before. Did you have any reservations, I guess, about going public about this new relationship?
Yeah, for sure. I'm just naturally a more private person to begin with, so sharing everything and being on television was a stretch for me from the get-go. And so now, I have so many great supporters who, want to see Devin, and they want to see our relationship, and they want to see my personal life, and I want to share that, but I also do get a little weary because I'm very protective of that. So at first I was, and I still am, because part of me is like, I want some things to remain private and other things to share. So I'm still like trying to figure out that balance. But I do appreciate everyone just wanting to like be supportive and see my life, and it's really nice. But it's definitely not like my personality, I guess.
And like you're obviously one of the fan favorites on The Bachelor, and I feel people do want to see your life, and they love following you on Instagram, on social media. Would you ever do reality TV again? Maybe not looking for love in a different capacity?
Oh, that's such a hard question because I feel like never say never, and I would have never thought that my life would be where it is today. So I have no idea, but I personally, in my gut, and just kind of feel like my reality television days have kind of passed. And I'm honestly, like, I'm so ready to just settle down, and whether that's, in LA, I don't really know. There's so many things that are up in the air, but I want to have a family, and I want to settle down, and I want to hang out with my friends, and I want to hang out with my family. And so if somehow that could fit into the mix, sure, I guess, I don't know, but for now I'm happy where I'm at, and I'm happy just not on reality television.
Let's talk about The Bachelor a little bit, because the season just ended. Were you keeping up with this past season?
So this was the first season that I actually kept up with. I can't say I watched every single episode, but I watched enough of it where I was following and I was able to keep up with it. And it was the first time that I've done it or watched it since I was on it, just because I needed like a little break to like transition and just kind of take in everything that was happening around me. So yeah, I did follow, and it was fun. I actually enjoyed following.
What did you think about the finale, the big switcheroo? Like, what did you think about that?
The big switcheroo. I like that. You know what? Like, I feel like it could have been done in a different way. Obviously, like there's a lot of emotions there, and it's just hard when you're dealing with emotions on television with cameras around. But at the same time, I'm like, you gotta do what makes you happy, and it seems like everyone's happy, at least via social media. It seems like that. I don't know if that's real, but you know what? Like, yeah, you gotta do what you gotta do, and I mean, at least he stayed true to what he wanted and was honest about how he felt, but I do think there was a different way that could have been handled.
Yeah, I agree. How do you feel about Becca as the new Bachelorette?
I adore Becca. I think she was one of my favorites from early on. Also, I'm pretty sure Becca has corgis, which I'm a big corgi person, and my family has a corgi, so I'm like rooting for her, and I hope that this season, her as the Bachelorette, we get to see her dog, because her dog's so cute.
You've been on The Bachelor, obviously. You've been through the whole process. Do you have any advice to give her? What's like one piece of advice you would give her throughout this journey?
You know what? I've never been in the position that Becca will be in. I've been in her position when she was on The Bachelor, but I've never obviously been the Bachelorette, so I know that's a whole different ball game, and so I can't really speak to that. But from what I've just heard that you have to follow your heart and you have to be true to yourself. And I think going into something like that, you have to know what you want and not waver from that. Like, be confident in knowing what you want and be confident in those things, and don't feel like you have to sacrifice or give those up to end up with someone at the end. You know, if it does end up that way, great, but if it doesn't, that's also okay. But I'm sure she'll be fine. I mean, she's like such a catch, so she'll be good. She seems like she has a good head on her shoulders.